Well,
natukene setivad sind
sure.
ja
Okay.
operaator ütleb, kui
Just say when. Well, thank you very much for your patience. Our working day has been a bit longer than originally planned, but we had very fruitful discussions on a wide variety of subjects. First of all, the joint session with the defense ministers, where we discussed the future of the European defense cooperation, focusing on PESCO, the Permanent Structured Cooperation, and European Defense Fund. That was followed by the foreign ministers' discussion of the situation in the DPRK, North Korea. We are deeply concerned and annoyed by the recent missile tests, as well as the detonation of a nuclear bomb, nuclear device by North Korea, and obviously condemn it in the strongest terms. We also agree that we need to go on with the implementation of all the UN-imposed sanctions, as well as look at how the European Union can tighten even further the sanctions regime, and we also agree that the international community will have to do its utmost to seek a peaceful solution to the situation, but one that would see North Korea return to the path of internationally acceptable behavior and suspend its nuclear program and missile development program. And finally, we had a thorough discussion of the situation with regard to the Middle Eastern peace process. The recent developments have been rather worrying with regard to the humanitarian situation in the Palestinian territories, as well as the security situation between Israel and Palestine. We are also aware of the political difficulties in both the Israel domestically, as well as between different factions of the Palestinian community. But the European Union is prepared to stick to its principles, its position of two-state solution as the only viable solution to the conflict, and do what it can to alleviate the humanitarian situation, as well as play a role as a member of the international community in order to seek a solution, obviously being well aware that it will take constructive engagement of both the American administration as well as other regional countries, Middle Eastern and Arab countries. Well, thank you very much, and the High Representative will also shortly make a brief statement on today's discussions. Thank you very much. There was a very strong consensus with regard to where we need to be moving with regard to North Korea. Obviously, this being an informal ministerial meeting, there were no conclusions adopted, but I'm sure. I think it's safe to say that we had very strong consensus, very good understanding as to where we are today and what needs to be done in order to make the regime even tighter, even stricter.
And what are the exact options you would consider? Because you said we're next to an absolute zero. Was there
well, as I said in the morning, our relations when it comes to trade between the EU countries and North Korea. That's not extensive trade relationship as it is today. We already have very strict sanctions regime in place, but as there are some additional steps that we can take with regard to speedy implementation of the UN sanctions regimes, as well as seeking other new restrictive measures, not just between the EU and North Korea, but as a very strong voice of the international community within the UN framework, for example.
For example, one example that's on the table?
Well, we know that there is a resolution project on the UN Security Council table that would foresee some additional measures that have not so far been part of the sanctions regime, and obviously we should look into very seriously into the possibility of finding a consensus among all the P5 members and all among the Security Council members, so as to be able to take those measures. At the same time, obviously, we need to also engage with the North Korean regime, so as to see that there is no unnecessary escalation of the situation, that there is no unwanted development that would result in the situation getting out of control completely. Thank you.